Hey, King.
What's up?
I love you.
Oh, you do now?
Tristan. Tristan.
Hi, Mommy.
What's up, Tristan?
Hi, Mommy.
Also new tonight, Columbia police have arrested and charged a 29-year-old woman in connection with the death of a missing person. This is Taylor Wardlaw. She is charged with murder and possession of a firearm during a violent crime. Wardlaw is accused of fatally shooting 26-year-old Terrell Sims multiple times.
Columbia, South Carolina, December 2021. A young mother named Taylor Wardlaw stands before news cameras, tears streaming down her face as she pleads for information about her missing boyfriend Terrell Sims. Her voice cracks with emotion as she describes the father of her child who mysteriously vanished after an argument. Concerned citizens gather, distribute flyers, and comb neighborhoods looking for any trace of the 26-year-old father of four. Hello viewers, if you find stories of psychological complexity and hidden motives as fascinating as I do, take a moment right now to subscribe to True Crime Mindframe and hit that notification bell. Your support helps us continue investigating cases where public appearances mask deadly intentions. Drop a comment telling me what you find most disturbing about partners who maintain double lives, the psychological manipulation or the calculated deception. I read every comment and often use your insights in future videos. Now let's examine how Taylor Wardlaw's desperate search for her missing boyfriend concealed a truth far more shocking than anyone could imagine. December. The winter air hung cold over Columbia as dozens of volunteers gathered in a local park. They formed search groups, distributed missing person flyers, and coordinated routes through nearby neighborhoods. At the center of this community effort stood Taylor Wardlaw, visibly distressed as she organized the search for her missing boyfriend, 26-year-old Terrell Sims. Local news crews captured her emotional pleas as she described the father of her child who had disappeared without a trace. If anyone has seen him or knows anything, please come forward, Wardlaw told reporters, her voice breaking. His 4 children need their father to come home. She detailed how Terrell had walked out after an argument and hadn't been seen since. The missing person case quickly dominated local headlines. Wardlaw appeared in multiple interviews, maintained an active social media campaign, and positioned herself as the heartbroken girlfriend desperate to bring home her children's father. The search party volunteers, news reporters, and concerned community members all believed they were helping reunite a family. None of them knew the devastating truth. Terrell Sims wasn't missing at all. He was already dead, and Taylor Wardlaw had killed him 2 days before reporting him missing. During an argument on December 20th, Wardlaw had shot Sims multiple times in their home. Rather than calling for help, she initiated an elaborate cover-up. With her new boyfriend, Eddie Brown, she disposed of Sims's body near a creek and methodically removed evidence from their home. Taylor Wardlaw presented 2 drastically different faces to the world. To her community, she portrayed herself as a devoted girlfriend and mother. Friends described her as charming and attentive when others were watching. Yet those closer to the couple witnessed her controlling tendencies and explosive jealousy. She demanded constant access to Terrell's phone, questioned his whereabouts relentlessly, and erupted when she perceived threats to her position. This pattern of behavior extended throughout their 3-year relationship, creating a pressure cooker of tension and conflict. Terrell Sims was known to friends and family as a loving father, trying to navigate the complexities of co-parenting 4 children while managing a volatile relationship. At 26, he balanced work responsibilities with his commitment to fatherhood. Those close to him described a young man who, despite past mistakes, was working to create stability for his children. His sister recalled him as always the life of the party, with a smile that lit up rooms. Community members remembered his generosity and dedication to his family. His cousin described him as someone who would give you his last dollar if you needed it. The discovery of his body transformed what began as a missing person case into a homicide investigation, with attention quickly turning to the person who had been most vocal about finding him, Taylor Wardlaw. Taylor Wardlaw and Terrell Sims began their relationship in friends recall their early days as a seemingly normal couple navigating the excitement of new love. They moved in together within months, establishing what appeared from the outside as a typical household. Sims, already a father to 3 children from previous relationships, found in Wardlaw someone who initially seemed supportive of his existing family commitments. Their social media profiles displayed smiling photos together at family gatherings and community events, projecting an image of happiness that masked growing tensions beneath the surface. At first they seemed good together, explained a mutual friend who knew the couple from the beginning. Terrell was always talking about how Taylor understood his situation with his kids and accepted all of him. The pair frequently attended neighborhood cookouts together, with Wardlaw often preparing elaborate meals for Sims's extended family. These gestures of domestic harmony created an impression of stability that would eventually crumble under the weight of deeper issues. Within months, those close to the couple noticed concerning patterns emerging in their relationship. Wardlaw began monitoring Sims's communications obsessively, demanding immediate responses to her messages and calls. Family members later told investigators that Wardlaw tracked Sims's movements constantly, questioning his whereabouts and accusing him of infidelity without evidence. She wanted to know where he was every minute of the day, Sims's cousin explained to police. If he took too long coming back from the store, she would blow up his phone with texts accusing him of seeing other women. This controlling behavior isolated Sims from his support network. Friends reported inviting him to gatherings only to have him cancel at the last minute, often citing Wardlaw's disapproval. His relationship with his children's mothers became increasingly strained as Wardlaw inserted herself into co-parenting discussions, demanding to be present during exchanges or phone calls. The pressure created a continuous state of tension, with Sims struggling to balance his responsibilities as a father with Wardlaw's escalating demands for loyalty and attention. The situation reached a critical point in late. While 9 months pregnant with their child, Wardlaw reported that Sims had threatened her life during an explosive argument. According to police reports, she claimed he had held a gun to her belly and made violent threats. This allegation resulted in his immediate arrest and a court-ordered separation through a no-contact order. Sims spent the next 11 months in jail, missing the birth of their child in January 2021. That was devastating for him, his sister told reporters. Missing his baby being born broke something in Terrell. He talked about that baby every day he was locked up. During his incarceration, Wardlaw maintained control of the narrative, sharing selective updates about their child with Sims's family while limiting actual contact. She positioned herself as the protective mother while simultaneously laying groundwork for a potential reconciliation. Despite the no-contact order remaining active, the couple resumed living together shortly after Wardlaw posted bail for Sims in August 20. Court documents reveal the contradictory narratives that defined their relationship. During legal proceedings, Wardlaw described feeling unsafe and afraid for her child's well-being. Yet within weeks of securing Sims's release, they had re-established their household, ignoring legal restrictions designed to prevent further violence. This pattern, separation followed by reconciliation despite red flags, demonstrated the complex hold they maintained on each other. Friends observed a push-pull dynamic where periods of apparent harmony would inevitably dissolve into accusations and conflicts. They couldn't seem to stay apart even when they shouldn't have been together, explained a mutual friend. One week they'd be posting happy family pictures. The next week one of them would be staying with friends after a fight. This volatile cycle continued until December 2021, setting the stage for the tragic events to come. December 20th, 2021 began as an ordinary Monday. Terrell Sims spent the day working and visiting family, making plans for the upcoming Christmas holiday just 4 days away. His birthday on December 24th. Text messages recovered from Wardlaw's phone reveal mounting tension throughout the day. She sent dozens of accusatory messages demanding explanations for Sims's whereabouts and questioning who he had contacted. The digital trail shows Sims attempting to defuse the situation, explaining he was shopping for Christmas presents and visiting his children. As evening fell, neighbors in the apartment complex later reported hearing raised voices from the couple's unit around 9:00 p.m. The argument centered on Wardlaw's accusations of infidelity. You could hear her screaming about him cheating, saying she had proof. One neighbor told investigators it got louder than their usual fights. Phone records show Sims attempted to call a friend at 9:32 p.m., but the call went unanswered. His last attempt to reach out to anyone, the verbal confrontation escalated quickly. Physical evidence revealed furniture overturned and glass shattered across the living room floor, indicating a violent struggle. According to court documents, Wardlaw retrieved a handgun during the height of the argument. Multiple shots were fired in rapid succession, with forensic analysis later confirming that Sims had been struck 4 times. Most telling was a fatal wound to his back, which analysts determined had been fired while Sims was turned away, a critical detail that contradicted Wardlaw's later claims of self-defense. In the aftermath, Wardlaw faced a pivotal choice. Phone records show that within minutes of the shooting, she called not 911 but Eddie Brown. This call, placed at 9:47 p.m., revealed the true nature of their relationship. Brown wasn't merely an acquaintance Wardlaw turned to in crisis. He was her boyfriend, a relationship she had maintained while still living with Sims, adding another layer to the tragedy. Security camera footage from a neighboring property captured Brown's vehicle pulling into the driveway at 10:17 p.m., approximately 40 minutes after the shooting. He remained inside the home for over 2 hours. During this time, Wardlaw and Brown formulated their plan, wrapping Sims's body and preparing to transport it using a rental car Brown had obtained earlier that day, a detail prosecutors would later point to as evidence of premeditation. Under cover of darkness, the pair drove to a remote creek area outside Columbia. They left Sims's body partially submerged in water, discarding his ankle monitor nearby, an attempt to disable the tracking device he had been required to wear following the previous domestic violence incident. Phone location data later mapped their journey from the residence to the creek and back, creating a digital timeline that proved crucial to the investigation. Returning to Wardlaw's home in the early hours of December 21st, they spent hours removing bloodstains and discarding evidence. They used industrial cleaning products on the floors and furniture, disposed of Sims's personal items, and began constructing the narrative that would become her missing person report. By dawn, the physical transformation of the crime scene was complete, but the digital footprints they left behind would prove impossible to erase. On December 22nd, 2 days after killing Terrell Sims, Taylor Wardlaw walked into the Columbia Police Department to file a missing person report. Her performance was meticulously crafted. Dressed in casual clothes with minimal makeup, her eyes reddened from what appeared to be crying, she presented the perfect image of a worried girlfriend. The statement she provided claimed Sims had left their home after an argument on the evening of December 20th and hadn't returned or contacted anyone, a narrative carefully constructed to deflect suspicion. The report detailed clothing Sims had supposedly been wearing when he disappeared, clothing Wardlaw knew had been disposed of along with his body. She provided officers with a list of his friends who might know his whereabouts, individuals she had purposely not contacted before filing the report. Each element of her story was designed to create the impression of a routine domestic disagreement rather than a homicide. Local media quickly picked up the story. Wardlaw gave interviews to multiple news outlets, appearing visibly distraught while appealing for information. "Please, if anyone has seen Terrell, call the police," she pleaded during one televised segment, tears streaming down her face. His children need him home for Christmas. He wouldn't just leave them. These public appearances served dual purposes, maintaining her cover story while allowing her to monitor the progress of the investigation. On December 27th, Wardlaw organized a community search party, distributing flyers with Sims's photo and coordinating with local residents to canvass neighborhoods. Witnesses later recalled how she strategically directed volunteers away from the creek where she had disposed of Sims's body. "She kept insisting we focus on the residential areas," one volunteer noted. When someone suggested checking the wooded areas near Monticello Road, she quickly dismissed it, saying police had already searched there thoroughly. Throughout the search, Wardlaw maintained phone contact with Brown, updating him on the group's movements and ensuring they remained far from the actual disposal site. The level of planning in this case is truly astonishing. If you're finding this deep dive into criminal psychology fascinating, take a moment to hit like and subscribe. I'm curious, what psychological factor do you think enables someone to organize a search for a person they know is deceased? Is it pure calculation, psychological compartmentalization, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every comment and often incorporate your insights into future videos. Now let's explore how investigators began to unravel this elaborate deception. The case transformed dramatically on January 3, 2022, when a local resident walking his dog near a creek off Monticello Road discovered what appeared to be human remains partially submerged in water. Police responded immediately, securing the scene and confirming the body was that of Terrell Sims. The location, less than 5 miles from the home he shared with Wardlaw, contained critical evidence including his discarded ankle monitor. The discovery shifted the investigation from a missing person case to a homicide, with attention quickly focusing on the person who had been most vocal about finding him. Forensic teams processed the crime scene meticulously. The body's condition indicated Sims had been dead approximately 2 weeks, aligning precisely with the time frame when Wardlaw reported him missing. His wounds told a clear story: multiple gunshot injuries including a fatal shot to the back. This evidence directly contradicted any potential self-defense claim. Near the body, investigators recovered shell casings matching the caliber of a handgun registered to Wardlaw, creating a direct link between her weapon and the crime. Despite Wardlaw's cleaning efforts, the residents yielded damning evidence. Using specialized chemical treatments and alternate light sources, technicians revealed blood spatter patterns throughout the living room. No matter how thoroughly someone cleans, noted the lead forensic analyst, blood leaves microscopic traces that tell us exactly what happened in that room. DNA testing confirmed the blood belonged to Sims, placing the murder scene directly in their shared home. Most compelling was evidence recovered from the rental car Brown had used. Despite attempts to clean the vehicle, forensic vacuuming recovered fibers matching the clothing Sims wore when killed, and a bullet hole discovered in the car's hood provided physical proof linking the vehicle to the shooting. Digital evidence proved equally crucial. Cell phone records showed Wardlaw and Brown's communications before, during, and after the murder. Location data from both phones placed them at Wardlaw's residence during the time of the shooting, then traveling together to the creek where Sims's body was found, and finally returning to Wardlaw's home. Text messages recovered from their devices documented their relationship and contained explicit discussions about cleaning supplies and evidence removal. Most damning were messages exchanged after December 20th showing coordination of their stories. "Let's make sure we know exactly what we're saying," read one message from Brown. "Say he left angry after you argued, don't mention anything else." The investigation gained momentum when an anonymous tipster contacted police on January 2nd. This individual, later revealed to be a friend of Wardlaw's, reported disturbing conversations where Wardlaw had mentioned details about the shooting. According to court documents, the tipster provided information that only someone with knowledge of the crime could have known, including the location where the body had been disposed. This tip led investigators directly to the creek area where Sims was discovered the following day. Neighbors provided additional testimony about hearing multiple gunshots on the night of December 20th, followed by unusual activity at the residence. One witnessed a rental car backing up to the apartment's rear entrance around midnight, with 2 people loading what appeared to be a heavy object into the trunk. On January 6, 2022, police arrested Taylor Wardlaw at her mother's residence, where she had been staying since the discovery of Sims's body. She was charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Eddie Brown was apprehended later that same day, facing charges of accessory after the fact to murder and obstruction of justice. When confronted with the mounting evidence, Wardlaw initially maintained her innocence, claiming self-defense during a violent altercation. However, the forensic evidence, particularly the gunshot wound to Sims's back, contradicted this account. For over 2 years, the case moved through the legal system as prosecutors built their case, and defense attorneys sought plea negotiation. On March 3, 2024, what was scheduled to be the first day of trial took an unexpected turn. Wardlaw, now 31, entered the Richland County Courthouse in shackles and made a decision that surprised many following the case. She changed her plea to guilty of voluntary manslaughter. The plea agreement included dismissal of additional firearm charges that could have extended her sentence. Prosecutors cited the substantial evidence and Wardlaw's acceptance of responsibility as factors in accepting the agreement rather than pursuing the original murder charge. Judge Robert Hood sentenced Wardlaw to 20 years in state prison, a substantial punishment that nevertheless generated mixed reactions. During the sentencing hearing, impact statements from Sims's family revealed the devastating ripple effects of his death. His mother addressed Wardlaw directly. "You took my son from his children, then pretended to help find him. The pain wasn't just his death, but the lies you told while we searched for him." His sister added, "Our brother was trying to leave her. He didn't want to be with her anymore, and she couldn't accept it. He should have got justice." As Eddie Brown's case continues through the court system, the tragedy has prompted local domestic violence prevention organizations to highlight warning signs of potentially lethal relationships. Advocates point to the case as illustrating how controlling behaviors, jealousy, and repeated conflict can escalate to deadly outcomes when intervention fails. The Sims Wardlaw case exemplifies missed opportunities for effective intervention, particularly after the 2020 domestic violence incident when court-ordered separation was ignored, without consequences. For the 4 children who lost their father, including the young child he shared with Wardlaw, the impact extends far beyond the courtroom. As one family member stated during the sentencing, "Justice doesn't bring Terrell back to watch his children grow up. That loss is forever." The case of Taylor Wardlaw and Terrell Sims reveals the darkest potential of toxic relationships when warning signs go unheeded. What began as jealousy and control escalated into violence, deception, and ultimately murder. Perhaps most disturbing was Wardlaw's ability to compartmentalize to kill the father of her child, then organize search parties while maintaining a public facade of concern, all while secretly continuing her relationship with the man who helped cover up the crime. This case demonstrates how appearances can be deceiving. To the public, Wardlaw presented as a distraught girlfriend, desperate to find her missing partner. Behind closed doors, she orchestrated an elaborate scheme to evade responsibility for taking a young father's life. 4 children will grow up without their father, and a family has been forever altered by violence that could have been prevented had earlier warning signs been addressed. If you've made it this far into this disturbing true crime analysis, I'd greatly appreciate you subscribing to True Crime Mindframe and enabling notifications. We explore cases like this one to better understand the warning signs of potentially deadly relationships and the psychology behind such extreme deception. What other true crime cases would you like to see covered next? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching this tragic story of deception, murder, and justice delay.